So I smirked at Zahn after my brothers left, and she sat back down beside me. Now that they're gone, you want to make out? What? She stood up again, blushing, but I just burst into tears of laughter. Just kidding, kind of. I stood up too, but she stepped back. Come on, I want to take you somewhere. Do I have to? She asked. I'm tried. I prefer to stay here. Don't be that way. I pouted at her. I want to show you something. She glared at me for a moment. Can Emmett come? My Lycan scout started to growl angrily. No, I said calmly, trying to keep my temper at bay. Emmett can have some time alone. I'm sure he'll survive without you for an hour. Now come on, please. She looked at me for a moment before agreeing, and I smiled happily. Do you want a coat? No, I'm warm. She crossed her arms. I chatted away happily as we walked, pointing out pack members and what buildings were what, but she remained silent and just tagged along. I asked her a few questions, but she would just answer with one-word answers or just shrug. I didn't give up, though. As we walked toward the woods, I noticed Zahn started to get a little uncomfortable, so I asked, Are you okay? Why are we going toward the woods? She paused and looked around frantically, as her heart started to race. I want to show you something inside. No. She shook her head. I'm not going in there. What? Why? I was so confused. I'd never seen anyone but Kit get this panicked when going into the woods. After Azana was taken, Kit was found unconscious, and healing was an injury to his heart. It took him years to go back into the woods, and even now, he didn't like it much, though he sucked it up to perform his duty. Come on, it'll be fine. There's nothing dangerous. I told her. No, she repeated and started moving back, but her hands were shaking. You upset, mate, fix it. Scout demanded. Hey, calm down. I reached out, and for the first time, she allowed me to touch her. I gently gripped her arms as she took deep breaths. Please don't worry. I won't make you. I pulled her into my arms, and she shocked me when she didn't pull away. My goddess. She smelt and felt amazing. I tightened my grip as she pressed her face into my chest and continued to take deep breaths. I hoped my scent would calm her down, and luckily it did, once she could breathe normally and was no longer shaking. She stepped away from me. I wanted to pull her back in, but when I reached for her again, she stepped back, so I lowered my hands. I didn't mean to upset you, I told her as she wiped her tears away. I'm sorry. We have mermaids in this area of the woods, and I wanted to show you. I thought it would be a nice first date, but mermaids, she asked, interrupting me and sounding excited as she stared at the woods. They aren't that far in, I told her, trying to pique her interest. Just a few feet. Their home was destroyed by a fire, so my father brought them here for their protection until their land is restored. I promise, I wasn't trying to hurt you or anything. How far inside the woods? She questioned, her voice shaking slightly with fear. Maybe 40 foot, I shrugged. We made them a small lake with a waterfall. It's perfectly safe. No one but the royal family are allowed in this area, and we have guards patrolling the perimeter. I've never seen a mermaid, she told me. I thought they were extinct. Nearly. I smiled. Do you want to check it out? She looked at the woods and started picking at her nails nervously as she decided. Mate's probably scared to be away from the pack in case Emery finds her, Scout told me. I'll keep you safe. I swear, I told her, and held out my hand. Come on. She looked at my hand for a moment before reaching out for it. She was shaking a little, but I held her hand tightly and led her towards the tree lean, with a slight smugness in my steps. She trusted me, and I loved that. Her grip tightened as we walked through the trees, and I noticed her jump slightly at every animal sound. Something must have happened to her in the woods, I told Scout as we led her over to the lake. Zahn, I whispered, we have to be quiet. Mermaids don't like outsiders. Come this way. I snuck her over to a large fallen tree truck and squatted down. There was enough of a gap under the tree truck that we could see the lake where several mermaids were swimming and lounging on large rocks. Zahn's gorgeous blue eyes widened as she watched the mermaids' water display. All the mermaids in this pod were silver, with dark black hair, that they wore in loose braids. "They're so pretty," she whispered in awe, but I just looked at her. She was far more beautiful than any mermaid. "It's nice of your parents to let them live here." "Yeah, I guess," I responded. "Oh, look, why are they doing that?" I looked over to see the mermaids shooting water into the air in celebration. Perfect timing. One of them must have given birth. "Really? They'll bring above the water soon," I told her, "so it can take its first breath." I continued to watch her and gently rubbed my thumb over her hand that she was still holding tightly. And then her eyes lit up again, and I turned to see the baby being held in the air. "It's kind of ugly," Zahn whispered as she smiled, and I froze. "When do they turn silver?" When I didn't answer, she turned and saw me looking at her. "What?" "That's the first time I've seen you smile," I told her as I gently brushed her hair behind her ear, but she jumped a little and hit the tree trunk. "Shit. Sorry." I quickly pulled her back down as the mermaids began to look around in confusion, and we both held our breath until finally they started up with their activities again. "I'm sorry," I whispered again. "I didn't mean to upset you." She didn't say anything but nodded and brushed her own hair back, causing me to see her throat. The red mark around her neck made me frown. "Does that hurt?" I asked quietly. "Harrison told us about the collar." "I'll heal," was her only response as she moved her hair back to cover it. "I'd like to leave the woods now." My heart sank. "Are you sure?" "We could shift and go for a run." "I'm sure you weren't allowed to go for runs." "No, I wasn't," she agreed, and I saw a pain in her eyes that I wished I could hug away. I frowned. "Will you tell me what it was like for you with Emery?" "No," she said firmly. "Okay, not yet, I understand," I told her. "But what about it? I know you're uncomfortable in the woods, but it would be fun, and you could meet Scout." "Oh, shit. I haven't even asked for your Lycan's name." "Zora," she replied, causing a smile to spread across my face. "I want to see Mate." Scout shouted loudly and leaving me deaf. "We'd really like to meet her, please," I said with a playful pout, noticing her annoyance. Yet, after a moment, she finally nodded. Her Lycan must have influenced her decision. "Just a quick run first, and then I'm ready to leave the forest," she demanded. "Deal." I agreed with a smile, and with gentle hands, I led her away from the tree as we quietly made our way from the lake. Once we reached a cluster of trees, I turned to my mate, anticipation building inside me. "You can just leave your clothes there and shift," I suggested eagerly. She met my gaze with surprised expression as I crossed my arms and leaned against a tree trunk, watching her intently. "Turn around," she said in an exasperated tone. "Sorry," I smirked, "but I can't do that. It's risky out here in the woods. What if I look away and a snake bites you or something?" "Snakes can't harm Lycans," she retorted, hands firmly placed on her hips. "Now, turn around." "I really can't," I laughed. "It's my duty to keep you safe." She growled at me and held up her hands, and suddenly leaves started flowing up from the ground and spun around me as if I was in a twister and I couldn't see anything. "Zahn!" I laughed in complaint. "How are you doing this?" "Stop." After a second, the leaves fell to ground, and there before me was a beautiful red Lycan with adorable black ears. She barked and rushed over, rubbing against me. "Well, at least she wants us, even if Zahn doesn't." "Hello, Zora," I said with a grin, scratching behind her ear. She responded by licking my face, eliciting a laugh as I playfully pushed her away. I shifted and Scout took over, and the first thing he did was rub all over his mate and sniff her bottom, but Zora growled and bit his leg. Scout whimpered as he lifted his paw and shook his leg in protest. Zora barked and started to run, so Scout took chase. We weren't running for long when I smelt my brothers. They appeared in front of us, but Zora froze and started to growl, her shackles raised. I quickly shifted. "It's okay," I told her. "Smell the air. It's my brothers, your mates. That's Western, and that's Cooper. Guys, this is Zora. We're going for a run." I shifted again, and Scout quickly ran to his brothers and barked for Zora to join us.